she was just there for the season.
Has the prioritization of marriage shifted from where it was, and why?
Yes. Are you letting me go first?
Sure.
I'm assuming. Okay. Yes, I feel like the prioritization has shifted. I still, though, do believe that it's important, and I do believe that both men and women want to be married. But what I think where the shift has occurred is that women are not accepting any type of treatment just to have a man. I think that our expectations are higher, our tolerance is lower, and we are able and capable of being by ourselves if we need to be. And so I think that whereas we do want companionship and we do ultimately want a partner, someone to share our lives with, I just don't think that at this point in time women are accepting anything just to say that they have a man.
Okay. So I do think the prioritization of it has changed. I think, me growing up, I feel like women, we were more prepared for a marriage, without even knowing. I had my easy bake oven, I had my doll houses, I just remember making little scrapbooks of, what I want my wedding to look like. And, I don't think the kids these days do it. Like, I think it's just, these kids out the gate listening to Fuck Nigga Free, the parents, not to blame parents or anything, but, I just feel like it's not the same. I feel like it was just more heard back then in the music, more wanted in the movies, seeing Black love. And I feel like with, of course, all the influences that we have, like reality TV, like it's not a priority anymore, and even if it is a priority, the priority is just a little bit different.
So I think, yes, it has shifted. I'm not saying that's right, but yes, I think it has shifted. I think it's shifted because women are in a place in life where they can amass just as much and accomplish just as much independent of a man than say maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. So opportunities for women are far more great. And women can do and materialistically can accomplish just as much as they want to accomplish and need to accomplish to be able to live the life that they want to live. But that doesn't necessarily remove the fact that they're not able to have that kind of emotional connection and, support and partnership. But in terms of at a material level, yes, I think it has shifted.
I think it has too.
From a male's perspective, I don't think it's ever changed. We've always wanted a woman by our side. We always understood that we were more powerful with the woman on our side.
So what's changed? So what's happened? What do you think has altered that view?
Women have started to become more successful. Shout out to those, all of y'all. Women have become, put in position to have more power. And since they've done so, because of all these things that have happened to where women have to be more independent.
Okay.
Women have to be more independent, but there's a lot of things that have caused that system. I think
it's a mentality thing though, because it's not the fact that women are independent that's deterring marriage. It's that men don't know how to leverage the independence.
No.
So hear me out. Hear me out. If there's a woman, right, that's waiting on the man to either find her or make the decision to marry her, and she continues to make the moves, right, to matriculate in her job, to get the house, to own the things, it's up to the man, the mentality of the man to say, I'm secure enough in my manhood to say, we're going to leverage what you have as an independent woman. That house that you bought, we're going to take that and have that as income property. And then we're going to buy our own house, right? But it's the insecure man that says, "Oh, I'm intimidated by the woman that has her own. I'm intimidated by the woman that has a house. I'm intimidated by the woman that has a car, that has a successful job." Because if a man was confident enough and sure enough in his manhood to say, "I can retire you," just like think about it. You think about Tabitha and Chance. Tabitha ended up retiring her husband, but for a long time, her husband supported her in her matriculation through social media and getting to stardom or whatever. But there's a thing where men can be confident enough to say, look, I know I'm striving to make this. When I do make this, I can retire you. But there's nothing wrong with a woman being the breadwinner as long as she has the mentality to respect the man.
I would say that the prioritization is definitely different. I think that it's for a multitude of reasons. One being, women being as independent as they are today. But I also think that the independence is a kind of a smoky mirror. And what I mean by that is that, like, again, we are in a society that pushes the independence of women. Go out there, get your bag. Go out there, do this. Go out there, do that. Right? So a lot of women move around with that mindset and fool themselves into believing that a relationship is not important. And then they go out there and they achieve all those things and they attain all those things, and then they end up wanting a man anyway, right? But in the process of chasing all those things, you've kind of removed the aspect of you that men value most. And what I mean by that is the femininity has left, right? I mean, let's just be honest here. Like you could still be somewhat feminine, but when you out there chasing what you chasing corporate wise and climbing that ladder, fact is that to be at a high level in those fields requires a certain level of dominance, certain level of aggressiveness, certain level of masculinity, right? So when you adapt those traits, you lose femininity every time.
Yeah.
Now variation, varies according to the woman, but fact is that I hate saying this, right? But when you go chase what it is that you're chasing, you become less desirable to most men.
Oh, don't do this. My mind, I'm operating at about 40, 50%. I'm not there.
It's honest.
For the most part. But you can even argue on the men, a lot of men, how they really take in and portray the music that they listen to and what they hear and what they act out. So you can definitely argue that point. But from a woman aspect, it's a lot of, being free. All the women that's, doing what you want to do. You got your money, you get in your bag, you can show your ass when you want, you can make money showing your ass. So for the most part, like, however you live in your life, if that's how you choose to live it, you can make money off of it and capitalize of it, which is cool. Do that. But when you're a man, like, I don't want my woman, for me, I'm speaking personally, like, a man doesn't want his woman to be all over the internet. He don't want other men being able to just easily fantasize about her, that easy access, like you putting yourself out there, portraying yourself a certain way. You're getting the money, but you portraying yourself a certain way that's not as, I guess you would say, just like a complete woman. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing wrong with having fun and having a good time.
What is a complete woman?
Not what y'all portraying right now. I tell you that.
Back in the day with marriages, like in our parents' generation and before them, like mostly all the women, as far as their livelihood, was tied to dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a few women hustling. I give it to them. A few women was hustling, but it wasn't like today.
Right.
You get, so in that sense, they had to find a man to cling on to the life that they wanted. You get what I'm saying? And then now, the way the society is set up and women is getting to that bag, salute to y'all that's getting to it. The bums, disappointed in you, letting your family down. But with them getting to the bag, like, it presents a new problem now, because now single women that's really getting to the money, we're not talking the average woman. We're not talking somebody getting 40,000. Yeah, you can take care of yourself, but we talking about
Not
in
with
abundance.
40,000, child, but
Yeah, if you got 40,000 and you alone, you can take care of yourself.
not after taxes.
You bring up Tabitha. Shout out to Tabitha. Beautiful woman, great marriage. A great example of what black people should look towards, for one.
Okay.
All right. That's not what most women nowadays are looking at. If we just gonna keep it,
What are most women looking at, though?
If we just gonna keep it real, we've always. I mean, if you watch Krew season,
I do.
you know what. Nobody's trying to go for the Russell Wilsons. Nobody's trying to go for the
That's
Will
a
Smiths.
lie.
Nobody's trying to go. Y'all not going for that.
But
You're
here's the
not.
question. Here's the question that I want to ask you: are the Russell Wilsons going for the Black Chinas? Because if the Russell Wilsons are going for the Black Chinas or the ones that are like that has a 35K on Instagram or whatever, then yes, they're going to be shut down.
But you brought up a terrible example because
It's
Black
not a
China
terrible example.
Black China does not take care of her kids. I don't think any man would want to be with that woman. All right, that's first and foremost. But if you're saying a woman who can entertain a man, we're not
It's
going
not
for
about
that.
entertaining. It's about the look. The Russell Wilsons wants the Sierras of the world. Let's be clear. They want the Sierras of the world. They want the woman who has her body fit. Hold on. They want the woman who has her body fit. They want the woman who is successful. Sierra has made her mark in the world without Russell.
True.
Russell had to be confident enough to grab a Sierra. And if we were to be honest, most men are not as confident as Russell. So all these men that's comparing themselves to Russell,
I think a lot of men are confident as Russell. The thing is because
I beg to differ.
Those men aren't flashy. They're not the ones that's in front of the camera.
Flashy.
They don't seem to be the one. They don't seem to be the
It's not about being flashy.
The alpha males on the look.
Most men are not necessarily intimidated by that, but again, they want a feminine woman.
They're intimidated all day. All day. I think it takes a strong man to be able to handle a strong woman. And I'm not speaking out of my mouth or out of my ass. I'm speaking this from knowledge. It takes a strong man with a strong mind, a strong will to be able to handle a woman. And a lot of times men egos, they're fragile. I think men are some of the most fragile creatures ever that have ever existed. And a lot of men cannot handle a strong woman. And again, it goes back to what Nicole said. I feel like for women, it'll take the right person. It has to be the right person to be able to provide you and feed you with what you need to be able to operate in your femininity. Because a lot of times these men will try to bring you down. And that's what we're not doing.
And see
they will try to bring you down. They want to be with you, but they try to compete with you. And they're jealous of you.
And see the only issue that I have with what you said, right, is that you used a word that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
Right? When we say handle, like humans aren't to be handled, like children are to be handled, luggage is to be handled. But if I have to handle you, don't you think that that's a red flag in itself?
Absolutely not. No, because a strong woman needs to be handled by a strong man. Absolutely. I want to be handled. Period. Handle me, not beat me, not bring me down, but you know what to do to be able to handle me. And I think that's an art form. I feel like that most men do not have because they cower away from that, because their egos get bruised, because they're so fragile. But I think a real man, a strong man, a mentally strong man knows how to handle a strong woman. And we like to be handled at the end of the day. Period.
If you really look at who's hot and who's being pushed right now, just think about it. I don't even have to name it. Just think about who's really being pushed right now and who's hot. That's who's making the headlines. The women that's in the background that's still being cute, they got their clothes on, singing R&B, those women not really being pushed out there. But the woman that's half naked, that's the one that's being pushed. And that's what they're portraying the women as, and that's what a lot of women starting to follow and do, because it's like, shit, it's hot girl summer. I got this money, I got that bag, I got that bag.
It's funny how all those women, are in relationships. When you kind of look back at it, Lori Harvey, even though she's single now, but Megan.
In relationships?
Ari.
How long are those relationships, though?
They in relationships.
How long are they in relationships? Are they married?
It doesn't matter.
Are they married?
Their relationship.
Okay, exactly.
It leads
and
to
that's
marriage.
the key right there. A lot of them don't even be married. They be together for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. That's the hot topic. That's who you should be like. And they broken up. Now they with somebody else. Show me the ones that's doing that and that's married.
Beyonce.
Boom, 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 boom.
Beyonce for 300.
They're not doing that. That's what men gonna want.
Now that women get into their bread, like they're thinking like men now, because now you see men are opportunists.
Thinking like men.
Men are opportunists as well.
Yes.
Right? Men will use you.
Do.
Right? And if you're a woman and you career driven and all these type of things, you pick up a lot of masculine traits that men have had their whole life. And it's not on purpose. It's just you had to start competing. Right?
So is
that
competition
changes your,
naturally a masculine thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Women have a problem with men doing things at their pace. That's what it is. If you're looking for a strong man, there are a bunch of strong men out there. There are a bunch of confident men out there. They're moving at their own pace. Women just feel like it's not fast enough for them. So because you don't see it being fast enough for you, oh nah, he lame, he this,
That's
he
not
that.
the case.
I'm gonna go ahead and move on
can I
because
ask for clarification?
I'm looking for a man that'll have this already. I'm looking for a man that he can. As soon as I get with him, he got this, and this. It's all these assets. You gotta let that. If you're looking for a man, first off and foremost, it should be for love. Of all things.
No, love is not enough to hold
it's
a marriage
not enough
together.
to hold you.
Let's
it should
be
be
clear.
the first. It should be the first thing that
Love is not enough. I'm just gonna put that out there. Love is not enough. But let me just say this.
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Let me just say this. You said that most men are looking for.
They're looking for the Sierra. Really, a man is just looking for a woman that'll love him. That's it. Everything else because he's going to lead. He's going to take care of you. He's going to give you everything that you want.
That you are missing. Women are born. Women are like. We are raised to love. We are raised to nurture. We are raised to have this love component to us, right? So it's not hard for us to love. Here's my point. Women fall in love with potential. If that doesn't say a lot right there, that says an awful lot. We love things that we shouldn't even be loving. We love the hell out of a nigga who be working at Popeyes from goddamn 8 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. talking about he be grinding.
Y'all, you're
Come on, absolutely not. We love the things that we should not be loving.
Grown women don't desire to be handled. Grown women desire to fall into place. Like again, we're like when you run into.
Don't get with the program. We're not getting with the program.
Grown women
you
deserve.
have a hard time getting me on the program.
Again, grown women don't have to be handled, right? Because when I meet you, it all boils down to a compatibility aspect, right? See, I believe in like the puzzle piece theory, right? Some people, right, believe in the fact that, hey, you get with your partner, you mold them to the person that you want to be.
No.
I don't believe in that, right? I believe like when you go out there and you buy that little puzzle piece board, they got 50 pieces. I feel like every piece kind of fits where it's supposed to. So if I got to do molding or handling per se, then that means that I'm doing way too much and we are not compatible. Right, and that's not saying necessarily that I'm intimidated by you being successful. I'm not. And the fact is, most men are not intimidated by a woman's success. Most men are annoyed with what typically comes with said success.
I disagree because I don't even feel. I feel like yes, being a successful woman elevates you to another level. But I feel like with women in general, we go through a range of emotions. Month to motherfucking month.
Oh, we know. Continue.
Month to month, week to week, our emotions change. And when you couple that with a powerful woman or a woman who is about her business and handling business and operating in her masculine energy, I do think it takes a very strong and particular man to be able to wrangle her in. And I just think that a man, yes, it is. You have to. And I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. It is no chauvinistic shit. It's no, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like you could have a nice man who's, okay, baby, do you? I'm going to run over that man. Stop. He's getting ran over. And, that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is what it is. And so the man who has just enough of just dominance and also softness, I think is a good balance to be able to handle a woman of a certain stature or who has has achieved a certain amount of success in life. That's just my opinion.
Right.
That's how I feel. And not every man can do it. And and I understand that. And I'm okay with that.
I have my days where, you know, I'm posting, I'm a church girl, posting my tweets, you know, nothing fake about it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, like, then I have my days where, you know, I might be on vacation, it's hot girl summer, I'm turning up, you know.
Cool.
Then I have my days where you might catch me in my suit,
Cool.
you know, work, you know. So I feel like I'm multifaceted when it comes down to the type of woman I am. Like, I don't fit in one category. So, you know, for a person, if somebody called me, you follow me on a week that I'm on vacation, and you might see a few twerks or whatever, if that's what you judging off of me being like, you know, marriage material, that's kind of fucked up in a way. Because I feel like your wife can have different segments. She doesn't have to just be, oh my God, praying on my knees every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't just have to be that.
Nobody said that.
That's what you said.
No, that's how y'all be thinking that men think, and it's not
you just
that.
said it.
No, I'm not saying it at all. Do your thing. It comes to limit. In a sense, you know how like when you in school and you get graded, you can have 3 100s, but you have that 1 0 because you ain't turning an assignment in.
And it brings your grade all the way down
to 75 out of four times. You didn't hit 100 3 times, but that one, it was shit. So now it brings your grade all the way down. That's kind of how it is.
But
so when you have a couple of those,
still pass the class.
Yeah, but then it's you not with the standard. You average, barely above average. Who wants that? Who wants that?
Whatever.
If that's what your standard is, cool. Do your thing. But you know what I'm saying? It's all it takes is that one. It's messed up, but it takes that one. Yeah, we have a standard. Yeah, men may
so
like
you telling me the woman you married, she's gonna be perfect. The woman you aspire to marry, she'll never have a moment where she don't get a 0. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what you're saying. The moment
she's not.
Oh,
she's not.
Okay, good luck.
She's
with that
never gonna have a 0.
Marriage.
It might be a 10. It ain't gonna be no 0.
Okay. She gonna.
You ever play 2K? You ever like built a person? Ain't nobody gonna have a 0. Even a shot block. If you 5'5", you gonna have a 10 for a shot block.
Okay.
Let's just face it. If you got a little girl, right, if she's in sports and all these type of things, right, if she does horrible, you don't see coaches like really just on their neck about, what the hell are you doing? All this type of shit. They coddling them and coaching them at the same time.
So I beg to differ. So the reason why I have no voice today is because I was on the soccer field with my daughter. She plays premier soccer at a select level. And when she fumbled or didn't do well, even though she scored 3 goals, and the teams won both games. Love you, baby. When she messed up, coach was on her neck.
Okay.
Coach was asking questions. Coach was telling her what she needed to do.
In little boys,
it's the same energy that I see. I see. It's the same energy.
We are lovers by nature. It's the men who are incapable of loving outside of their standards, right? And the reason why I brought up Blac Chyna, it wasn't the fact that she don't take care of her kids. It's the fact that she has this image. She has the ass. She has the boobs. She has this image that most men want to be associated with.
No, men don't like. There are some men who like the altered bodies.
Men want to be associated with status. Men want to be associated with status. You don't want to be with an ugly bitch.
No, of course.
Okay, exactly.
But Blac Chyna's pretty.
Blac Chyna has the things that makes other men look. Here's the thing. Men don't want women that other men don't want.
That is true.
Okay,
but that's vice versa. That's vice versa. That's vice versa because y'all don't want a man who can't get a woman. Y'all don't want a man who can't get a woman. Y'all don't want the man who.
Actually, there's more women that settle for men that don't get women.
Because there are more women in the world than there is men. So
okay, you just proving my point.
No, that's just going by numbers.
My point.
That's just going by numbers.
We don't have
that's just going by numbers.
We literally settle for men. Like physically. I'm talking about like attraction alone. Women fall for men that are least attractive.
So
that's why men walk around with these badass bitches.
So y'all fall for men that are less attractive.
Yes.
And then when that doesn't work out, you blame every man for that not working out.
Not necessarily. I'm gonna speak for myself. Okay? Because we're speaking generalization.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't find myself to be like
you're not I'm not
with the
I hear you.
The general population of women.
Because go ahead.
So I'm speaking in terms of the independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not married.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a very lucrative job. Okay. I'm successful. And most men will find that intimidating.
I would have to disagree. In my opinion, I feel like when I come across a woman who is independent, not only successful in her job, but the way she carries herself, that makes me go 10 times harder because I feel like whatever.
10 times harder in what way?
In every way.
Explain, because what I've been finding is that men feel like, oh, since I got her attention, that's enough.
But
like there's little to no effort beyond she looked my way. And that means I'm winning. No, there's more effort that has to come. And so then when you apply pressure, it's like, oh, she asking for too much. Oh, she needy. No, it's that you are literally talking to a woman that's a 10.
That's a small percentage of men. That's again,
no.
The man who really wants to be there for you, y'all overlooking them.
When we get to speaking about these things, we talking extremes. And what I mean by that is we saying, the man got to either be dominant or he got to be a pushover. I feel like it's a lot of room in between there, right? Like you run into a lot of dudes to where it's like, okay, I don't necessarily have to announce or I don't necessarily have to handle you, right? Me moving a certain way, it just dictates a certain level of respect. It dictates a certain level of quote unquote submission. I hate that word, but submission. It just dictates, okay, this man has a proven track record. See, me, I believe in like resumes. I don't necessarily believe in I have to proclaim, hey, I'm the man. Hey, we running things this way. Hey, we doing things this way. Nah, when you get with me, you done enough due diligence. You done enough vetting to understand that, hey, this motherfucker, that resume is impeccable. Everything that he embarks upon is successful, right? So I'm be way more willing to follow said lead, right? But when you have to run into a guy that has to quote unquote dominate, or has to kind of impose his will. Again, it goes back to that puzzle piece.
You putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I didn't say somebody.
You didn't say dominate?
Yes, I said someone who can dominate and someone who's also be soft, but not impose their will. I think also there is something to be said about displaying all of your cards because there's a certain level of sexiness and desire that comes along with mystery. And so if you giving me your resume and I could read you from beginning to end like an open book, that's not intriguing to me. And so again, there's a certain level of mystery that creates desire in a certain kind of woman that I feel is also necessary to keep a woman engaged.
But see, when you say give you my resume, I'm not giving you anything. You're gonna do your due diligence. Again, we give women a lot of credit, right, for being like FBI detectives and like doing a lot of research and shit like that. Like when they like somebody, right, they going to go look up exes. They going to go look up who is he cool with, who is he dating, da da da. So in your due diligence, you're gonna come across my resume and you're gonna study it thoroughly. I don't necessarily have to give it to you. Right, you're gonna go do that intel on your own, and when you do,
but if I can find all that online, then it's still the same.
But it's not necessarily online. What I'm saying is this, right? Like when you go do your research on said resume, and you see that everything this man has embarked upon has been successful, there's going to be way less urge to challenge. There's going to be way less urge from you sitting in my passenger seat and reaching for my steering wheel, right? Because his resume says that he's, he knows what the hell he's doing. So I'm going to be fine with, again, I think y'all said it earlier, right? Using y'all's own point against y'all, is that most women do not want to quote unquote drive the car, right? Most women want to just come home and just let their man take care of things, right?
Yeah,
so again,
and my man does that.
There we go. Salute the bro. So what I'm saying is this, right? When the resume is what it is, there's way less willingness for you to quote unquote drag your nuts across my living room carpet.
We just have different standards. It's okay. Men have a little bit higher standards than women. That's okay.
Oh,
that's what we got today.
That's a conversation for another day.
That's what we got.
I ain't even gonna go down that road with you.
That's what we got today. In 2022, let's talk about it. We here. In 2022, men have higher standards than women.
You really want to go there?
That's a fact. Because too many women out here are making money off of their bodies. And they want to do it, which is fine. Again, we always do your thing, baby. But you got to understand that value that comes with that. That's like an easy way out. That's really an easy way out.
But at the end of the day,
y'all get mad at men that being trash, man.
It's so funny because
I got to get up and grind every day. You over here sucking dick, showing your body. That's easy.
It's just so
That's
funny
easy.
though because y'all love to talk about the women who are doing that, and I'm not highlighting it, but y'all love to talk about the women who are doing that. But it's so funny how the first thing you said was too many women out here showing their ass or whatever you just said. Instead of the first thing you saying, too many women out here grinding. Too many women out here starting businesses. Can we lead with that? And then maybe your thought process will be different. Because I think that there's more women out here grinding, starting businesses, boutiques, makeup artists, than women showing their ass. If you ask my opinion, I think it's less of them.
What social media are you on today?
I'm on the same social media you on, and these girls are bosses. These girls, that was 2015, 2 Chainz, it's your birthday years. Like, yeah, everybody want to be a stripper. I see more women, even if a girl did start off that way, because we can't judge people how the way they started.
It sounds good. Go ahead.
It's real. It's real. Y'all mad at it, but then you highlight it. That's the first thing you said.
Go ahead.
Let's highlight the business, though. Let's highlight the women who are still working corporate jobs but still in their shit. Like, it's a lot of women out there doing that. And on my timeline, I see a lot of women on their shit, regardless of how they getting it. They on their shit. So let's put it like that.
No, because that matters. No, that matters. You said regardless of how they getting it, that matters.
I'm saying
you can't take the easy way out, but then also praise the
okay. So too many niggas
grind.
out here still living with
I respect the grind. I respect the grind.
Okay, so
I respect the grind, but showing a titty, knowing that's a man's weakness, knowing that knowing what y'all already talk about, men being easy, men being lazy, men being broke, all this stuff. But the moment a man spend that money to pay for your OnlyFans or whatever it is, you need him to spend the last $50 or whatever, you gonna take it.
Okay.
Knowing that's that man's kryptonite at the end of the day. Everybody knows that a lot of men are not capable to control their hormones. That's just what it is.
That's a weak man.
And there's a lot of weak men out here. Okay. We know that. And y'all capitalize off of that. By being naked, knowing it's man, come on.
We live in America. America is a home of capitalization. So
yes. So don't be mad when the men that y'all really want, y'all taking advantage of these men that's down here. Don't be mad at the men that y'all really want who are on a higher level. When you do that type of stuff to make the type of money, why would a nigga want to marry that? So that's only been my only point since day one. You want to shoot high and aim high. Cool. Do it. But the men that's on that level, they're not even looking down to women that's doing that type of activity.
And they shouldn't, and neither should a woman who is on a certain level. She shouldn't look down. So I'm not negating that at all. I'm just saying you can't be so judgmental. You can't think the woman that you're going to end up with, that she just, she won't have a pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible, but that's a topic for another day.
You can have a pass, but it got limits.
Okay, well.
It got limits.
Do your credit card got limits?
It's got limits. Again, it got limits.
Say you a ball player, you a women's ball player, you playing basketball in there. Okay. A boy walk in there, you're not gonna start performing at your highest peak. You're not. You're gonna stay playing at the level you playing at. If you walk in the gym or on anything,
if a boy walks into a practice that I'm having with other females,
y'all not gonna go harder because that boy in there.
You don't think of then you're talking to the wrong bitch.
No, yeah, but most women not doing that.
That's not me.
Right. You have learned to compete though. Mm-hmm. Most women not doing that initially. Mm-hmm. Men and boys, we are doing that. Mm-hmm. From the time we understand what competing is, we are doing that. Okay. A little girl can walk in there, and 2 of the little boys like her, they would damn near kill themselves to make sure they're on top of the chain.
Disagree.
There are men out there who will clean your shoes as you walk in, regardless of everything else he's doing for you. A man that wants you to just sit down soon. He don't even want you to go to work. The man rather you just be at home.
No.
Now, we live in a time where, you know what I'm saying, it's better to have 2 incomes in the household and everything. It's not. But I'm just saying, there are men who will take care of you, and y'all just overlook those guys.
So here's the thing. Before, there was someone speaking about, like, there's at least 2 to 3 men that will kind of, like, be the good guys that you will overlook.
Okay.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. But these are also the guys that are not
where y'all want them to be.
No, it's not about where. Because I've had one that literally didn't have a job, and then one that had the top of the tippity top that was literally moving him from country to country. So it's not about what they have. It's about what you're willing to put out or what you're willing to give to a woman. So if you really want a woman to just be like, take care of you, then that's different. But if you, but what I'm hearing is men don't want women to apply pressure, to apply saying, look, I don't want, y'all complain about independent women, women work too much, women trying to make more than men. We don't want to do that. But then when we say, hey, this is what I need from you, and y'all be like, oh, y'all start complaining.
No, it's the fact that when y'all try to tell us what y'all are looking for, half of the stuff is unrealistic. And
What's unrealistic to you?
Y'all have to understand that being a man, there are so many things that we already have to go through soon as we walk out the door from our own house.
Okay, what's unrealistic to you though? Like what are some things that are like just be you crazy? Why would you even ask me for that?
I mean,
I'll wait.
I am a woman, and we have that comes with it. That comes with its own set of like emotions. But not only that, I am a successful and ambitious woman.
Sure.
Too. A strong woman. Okay, and so that's a whole nother piece of that pie. And so yeah, I can see all of those things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to fall in line. And
so I hate to cut you off.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you, considering everything I just said?
Why would I? Your resume is your resume. That has nothing to do with me. What does that have to do with me and how you treat me?
Because
That doesn't translate. How you treat it or how you live your life prior to me does not necessarily translate to how we live our lives or how you treat me.
I would highly disagree, right? Because when I'm doing research, and I think we spoke about this early on the pod, when I'm doing research in terms of your history, that says a lot about who you are. That says a lot about what you're going to be. Like, again, there are such things as transferable traits. That's what I like to call them.
Yeah, I know
right?
about that.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if I've showcased dominance, your words, or success, or whatever, in all these other areas, chances are those are transferable traits, right? So when we get into this relationship, we're gonna run it the same way. I'm not gonna get into the relationship with you and fail all of a sudden when I don't have a track record of doing so. So what I'm saying is this: when you've done your due diligence, your research, you vetted, you did all that shit, and you came across my resume and found it was flawless, why is it so hard for you to just fall in line? Why would you want to question that if, again, I'm showcasing nothing to you but success?
Define success. What do you mean success? What are you talking about?
Success is relative, right? But it's relative to you in which you chose to be with me, right? So I would imagine that my success means a lot to you.
What do you mean, though? Are you talking about like career? Are you talking about like emotional? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about career. I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about how I move with family, how I move with my friends, like how I lead in all aspects of my life. In every arena of my life, I'm the leader in it. And in every arena of my life, I've been successful, right? So that success can be directly tied to me because of my leadership. So I ask again, knowing this, why is it so hard for you to just fall in line?
Because I think it comes down to compatibility. And I think that if anything comes too easy to a woman, I think that it's taken for granted. And I think there is a level, again, and we talked about this on our podcast, a level of mystery in the tussle of a relationship. Not the volatility, but just the mystery in a relationship that brings a certain level of desire and, wanting to, please or be with a person. So I think that if it's too easy, and this may be your truth, my truth, whomever's truth.
There's no such thing as our truth. There's the truth.
What's the truth? You're asking me if you come to the table and you check off all the boxes, what would be the issue at that point?
Right.
And I feel the issue at that point would be compatibility. And I think it boils down to what it is that the person that you're with desires. And if a mystery and excitement or whatever it is that they desire, because nobody's perfect.
Sure.
Okay, so let's put that out there first of all. Nobody's perfect. So if you don't have the things that this particular I desire, right, then it's still at the end of the day not going to work. And I feel like all of that is relative to whoever the person is.
Thing is this, that sounds like a character defect. And let me explain why.
Oh, you personal? You getting personal?
It sounds like no.
You're getting personal?
We are not
You're getting
personal.
You're getting personal? Are you getting personal?
We are speaking in strictly ideology.
You're getting personal?
But
Okay.
but I'm glad I was able to get you to sit up in your seat.
I think the rise of independent women is a great thing because, now whereas, a woman used to be the $40,000 limit, the man probably was at the, 80 or 6-figure limit, you have two people that are kind of meeting that 80 plus, and that's just minimum. But you have two people that are meeting that. You have women. I have a lot of friends who have got homes in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? And so, not married though. So by the time they get into their 30s and they do get married, they're walking into a marriage with a home. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm now walking into this marriage with not only a home, but a property and more income for our household, So I think that's a great thing because we're now giving our kids automatically a college fund. We have passive income together, and I'm not married, but I do hear that finances, can be a big thing in marriages. So if we're eliminating that stigma that finances is what causes the downfall, then having an independent woman, that is a great thing. And guess what? This is not the 80s, 70s, 90s, 2000s for God's sake anymore, well, it's in the 2000s, but you know what I mean. But, this is like an era where I don't have to come home and cook every night, We can afford, if I'm independent, you independent, we can afford a nanny. We can afford a chef to come meal prep for us because I just eat meal preps anyway. So we can afford somebody to do our meal preps. We can afford this lifestyle to where it's not taking away, So now that I'm independent, I'm working the same hours you working, you know what I'm saying? We can afford to do that together. And we can still afford, now that we're both independent making money, it's not all on you. So now we're going on vacations. So where are the arguments coming from? You know what I'm saying? What's life right now? To me, it sounds amazing.
I'm a woman of a certain age, and I just feel like when I grew up...
You are a woman that learned to compete.
Maybe I did, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I was taught to compete. I think...
You have to learn that. It's a skill you pick up.
You think so?
Yeah, you have to learn to compete.
But I feel like it wasn't taught, I've been competing...
Okay, so for your job,
very young age.
For your job, there's probably 10 people in the building that want your same job that you do, right?
Maybe.
It ain't no maybe.
Okay.
Everybody can know that employee that look at you like, boy, you make one wrong mistake, I'm on your ass.
Maybe.
That's competing. Mm-hmm. You, in a sense of things, of you sensing it, you're not thinking that I'm really competing, but to that person that's under you, they looking at you like you food.
I mean,
that's the way it works.
It's possible, but catch me if you can.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We literally ask you for the bare minimum. We literally ask you for time, attention.
Whoa.
We
don't say that.
Listen,
don't use those words.
Hold on.
Don't use those words because y'all was just parading in here talking about how a man give y'all bare minimum, and that's why y'all don't want to be with him.
No. The independent women that y'all complain about, we don't even ask you for your resources outside of time. And that's the thing that y'all literally can't give, which blows my mind. Because what do y'all literally have to do? Because y'all don't got 9 to 5s.
What do you mean? What does he have to do?
Y'all got 9 to 5s. Y'all out here taking shifts. Oh, somebody calling. I'll take your shift. I'll take your shift.
Nah. I mean, sound like a man that's not.
Right. You know I'm right.
That sounds like a man that's. That doesn't even sound like the man that you were trying to even described before.
But but what I'm saying is this literally proves my point of that we fall in love with potential. It's not about the income that drives us. Like, we will literally fall in love with the fact that you are human. You have a heart. You care. We really want a man that's nurturing, that literally looks at us and is like, babe, you working too hard. Let me massage your feet for a minute. Men don't even do that shit no more. They be like, here, $50, go to the spa. Nah, like, no, I want you to massage my goddamn feet.
Again, you're speaking to a small group of, because I don't know what them niggas do. That ain't me. But just speaking from my perspective and my experience, any woman that I've had that was successful, I tried in every way, even outside of everything that I was doing. I'm working 9-10 hours a day, and then I would come back and then help her try to elevate to wherever she's going.
In what way? Like,
what do you mean? What way?
Will you elevate
Whatever her profession is.
Okay.
I'm throwing out ideas. Oh, babe, you're doing hair. Hey, babe, I just heard somebody who's in contact with my boss. He got a shop that he's opening up on such and such street.
Gotcha.
You can get it. I can get the contact for you. That could be your new office that you do.
So an independent woman doesn't phase you.
Not at all.
You use the phrase, "Yeah, I'll meet you when you check off all my boxes," but comes down to compatibility. If I check off all your boxes, wouldn't that make us compatible?
No, I didn't say check off all the boxes. I also said nobody is perfect. So yes, you may appear on paper to be the perfect person, but there may be something missing in the relationship that does not drive or move me.
Like what?
I mean, it could be a myriad of things.
Give me one.
You can have a small dick. Can't fuck. It could be a bunch of things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you never know what a person has or wants or desires and how you guys are compatible for the relationship until you're in the say it relationship and you're able to kind of figure it out. I talked about this at the beginning when we spoke during, the collab between you and y'all's podcast and our podcast. And it's just about I don't know, like, how do you want to be treated in a relationship? How do you want to treat someone in a relationship, right? It's about giving a person what they want and what they need, right? And also trying to get those things in return. I think being in a relationship is about a lot of compromise. I said it. Being in a relationship is like holding up a mirror to yourself. I am not a perfect person. I will say that. I came into the relationship very flawed based on a lot of different things. The way that I was raised, past experiences, past relationships, very flawed. And I think that it takes a special type, as we all are, right? And very young. And so I think it takes a special type of person to be able to, not only accept those flaws, but be willing to work with you through them, and not in a docile, kind of controlling way, but to be able to meet you where you're at and speak a language that you understand at the end of the day. And so, yes, handle. And for me, a strong woman from Southeast Louisiana, New Orleans, right, that's what it takes. Now, for somebody else, it may take something else. It may take something less. But I'm speaking specifically from me and from my history, from my experiences, what it is that I in particularly need, and I feel like women like me need.
So in the line of you competing and women starting to compete, like that gets in the way of looking at marriages and how it's supposed to be set up. You get what I'm saying? Because the moment you start making money put holes in you, you start looking at people like opportunists. You start looking at people like, what can you do for me? What do you bring to the table? Right? Versus if you met your partner when you didn't have anything, when you have no money, when you ain't have no, you was on the rise and they stayed with you, you're not going to look at this person like that. Versus someone when you already got it and they coming to you like, hey, what's up?
So I think it's natural, yes, when you've amassed and accomplished and you meet people along the way who might be where you are, maybe even farther along than where you are, or who are on the incline. Yes, it's a natural inclination to ask, like, are the tables, are they even? And is the playing field level? And are you looking to get something out of this relationship? Are you looking to benefit from this? But I do think that, I'm going to go back to a comment that you made around, women are just starting to compete. I don't think it's a start. I think women have always been competing, but I think they've been competing in their own way. And that way might not have been recognized by the masculine energy, right? And so now women are learning that, okay, you need to compete in a different, not now, but women have learned to compete in a different way that resonates with the masculine energy. But women have always been competitive. It's just been different.
Because she believes that she has to do everything on her own, a lot of the things that men do, she feels like, oh, I can do that for myself. when it comes to being in a marriage, you're coming together as a union. You have to understand that there are roles in a marriage for the man and there are roles in a marriage for a woman. And because there are roles that you're having as a woman that you have to, you're stepping in roles as a man when you're independent. When you come across a man who's trying to love you or trying to be there for you, you like, oh, no, you gotta show me more. You gotta show me that, you know, all these extra things. It's really working when y'all go to work being an independent woman. Y'all need to y'all need to know when to dial it back.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Does the independent woman result solely based on salary, like, or their job profession, or is it their mentality? Because I believe that the independent woman is equivalent to their mentality. Like, you have women that are successful that are not necessarily mentally independent.
True.
But then you have women that are mentally, you know, F nigga, you know, all this stuff. Like, I don't, you know,
I would say
F nigga free, all this stuff. So here's the thing is that I think that women with the mentality of I'm independent, I don't need no man, is definitely a detriment to the institution of marriage. But the women who are successful and have the things that are often associated with marriage, I mean, not with marriage, but with like success, is like, you know, you think about a good job with high paying money. You think about, look at Siri trying to debate me.
Yeah, she trying to tell you.
You think about women with a nice paying job. You think about women with a woman with a car, with all of the quote unquote assets that you would attribute to an independent person. Doesn't necessarily mean, or I would even say a high paying job, because even a woman with a job doesn't necessarily mean that they're independent.
It can be independent.
So right. So I think that it's the mentality. It does warrant a conversation. Like, I know multiple marriages in which the woman is the breadwinner of the relationship. I'm pretty sure there were no conversations about roles. I don't believe in gender roles, but I believe that if a man is entering into the situation in which they believe that, hey, I want to be the head of the household, then there should be a conversation, because there are some women that associate with, hey, I make more, I'm going to call the shots. And even if you say, you know, we're not going to take this trip this year because we can't afford it, but I know my income and I can afford it, we're going to make this trip. So that's definitely stepping on the toes of the man.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
I would definitely agree with, like, that is a detriment to marriage.
I think it's this, right? Is that, and this is why I got to call cap, pun intended, on what you just said, right? Because again,
Cap? Are you
when we get to talking about checking boxes, right? And then you say, oh, your dick is little, right? Let's just be honest here. He would have never made it to being your man if his dick was small and he couldn't fuck. Let's just be honest, because that sex holds priority. So, wait. So you're saying, right? Let me get you on the record. So you're saying. Nah, she don't need. Well, you know, it don't matter. You can come sit right here. It's gonna be the same result.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this, right? Would he make it to your husband if his dick was little and he couldn't fuck? Give me a scenario in which that makes sense.
It depends on, again, where you were in what you needed at the time you made the decision to marry that person. And like we said, people's needs and desires change over time. And if you came from a situation, let's say this, you were in an abusive relationship, you had a man who didn't want to work, you had a man who didn't want to carry his weight, but also tried to bring you down while you were trying to accomplish your goals, right? But he had great dick and he could fuck really well. Okay, you finally found the strength to break up with that person because of that soul tie that you all had, because of the intimacy level.
Soul tie.
So when you go,
delusion.
so what you're looking for after that is the complete opposite of that, right?
Right.
It may not. His stroke game may not necessarily be on point, but he's a great guy. You know, he's honest. You can trust him. You don't. You know, he's. You don't lose sleep.
But you do lose sleep because he's not fucking you correctly, right? So you're not experiencing orgasm. So again,
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Name me a point in anyone's life, right? Because we sitting up here talking about young and old. So over the time you develop certain traits. Give me a point in one's life to where great sex is not important.
Oh my! There's been plenty of times. There's been plenty of times where great sex hasn't been important. After you have kids,
you got another hat back there? You got another hat?
There's plenty of times where great sex is not important. And speaking from a female perspective, hell, I even talk to men who just be like, they've gotten in relationships where the sex has dried out and they're just like, I don't need it, but maybe once or twice a week. So it just depends on the circumstance. If you're lucky, they just fall in line with wherever their sex lives are.
Okay, so wait,
with their wives.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Let me rephrase the question. Maybe I asked it wrong.
Okay.
Name me a time early in the relationship in which great sex does not matter.
But I just explained that to you.
No. You explain over time the sex stopped mattering as much, right? Because when you get older, genitals stop working the way they used to, all that shit. But when we young and we first get together, you telling me that there is an instance to where great sex does not matter?
Yes, I said coming out of a relationship where that was the only thing that mattered, but you didn't have all of the other things that were checked off.
Y'all got another hat?
Coming out of that relationship into a new relationship, maybe that may not have been as important because you didn't get all of the other things that you wanted, like the peace of mind. That's a real thing. You cannot negate that, and you cannot downplay that or act like it doesn't happen, because it happens every day. It's just like an abused child. We talked about it on the podcast.
Sure.
You either can do the same thing or you can try to do something different. And I think there are a lot of situations where people get stuck in relationships because the sex is good, but it's toxic as fuck. And then when you finally are able to get out of that situation, you're looking for something completely different. So if a person's not dicking you down and the sex is not that great, you're willing to make that concession because you're getting all of the other things. You're getting the peace of mind. You're getting the trust. You're getting the companionship. You're getting somebody who loves you and treats you the way that you want to be treated.
Right.
So yes, I do believe that. In certain circumstances, that could be possible.
Okay, so we're gonna have to starkly disagree, because again, you could be getting all of that great shit that you're talking about, all of the all of the emotional intelligence.
Take them caps off, homie. I got that on camera too. Take them caps off. I ain't got no props. No cap.
I done brought out all the Louisiana.
You got it.
I done brought out the accent, all type of shit. You hear me?
Hold up,
so
baby.
Again,
you want it, you got it. You want it, you got it. All the smoke.
I like it.
Hold up,
I like
baby.
it.
So let's say the man is bringing in $50K. You're bringing in 65. We said we talking averages, okay?
That's not no. That's not average.
This is above average. Technically, this is a little above. So but again, yes. Stop it. So I'm just asking. He make 50. He's make 50. You at 65. Are you going to respect that man in that relationship?
No.
Okay.
No. Yes or no?
No.
Hold on.
If I
yes or no?
If I choose that man,
yes or
any
no?
man who I'm with, I'm respecting. Let me start off there.
Yes or no?
Yes. Any man who I'm with, I'm respecting. Any man who I choose to be with, I'm respecting.
So
period.
So y'all meet, y'all having a good time, it's dating and whatever.
This is not my portion.
Okay, cool.
But
Y'all don't like the third date. You kind of ask him what he does, or you ask him how much he makes. He tells you, I make 51 a year.
Okay.
And you make more than that. You make 20 grand more than that.
Okay.
Are you taking him?
That's situational. It's
yes
so situational. No? So no.
Yes or no?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So that's one problem, because that man.
Wait.
Hold on. No. Hold on. That man.
I was gonna ask the question.
That man can be on his way to be making more.
That's what I was gonna
He could be like, he could
it's
be
situational.
He could be like, but a lot of times y'all don't even give those men that chance.
So okay, if a man, so let's say
that man could be on his third year
of med school, and so let's say he in med school the first
okay, but med school y'all know doctors make money.
Right, no, but I'm just saying like I've met a guy or whatever, and he's intern, resident, that whole process right there. So the amounts are different. So for me, okay, if you are, let's say you're in your fourth year of med school or whatever, you about to finish and you got like 1 year left or whatever, and you're not making as much money now, but I know that in the next 2-3 years your income is going to triple. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sticking with that because that is evidence. So it just depends on if you see the future, you know what I'm saying? But now if you just saying, oh, I work here, and then I'm the type of person, I ask certain situational questions. So do you have drive? Do you want to do more? You know what I'm saying? So I go off of that or whatever. Now don't get me wrong, off bat, no, you know what I'm saying? But some situations are different.
I don't want the narrative to be out there that women are just starting to compete, because women have always had a competitive spirit in them.
That's true. But I'm saying on the level of men, you get what I'm saying? Like, y'all competed in your own way.
But maybe it's the level to which men recognize.
No, I can't say that.
I mean, maybe we can.
Because us men, we compete with money, right? We compete with money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
money and power, yes.
Money and power, right? So now, with you being in HR, you being high up in level and all these type of things,
value, yes.
right? You, in a sense of things, you have money and power, right?
Do.
So with you having money and power, you understand other people are envious. You understand people will use you as well.
That's possible. But here's, I will say that's true.
Okay,
I'm not even going to shortchange that. That's true. But here's my hope. My hope is not necessarily that people are envious. My hope is honestly that people are inspired, right? Because again, my story is a story of, it's a pick yourself up by your bootstraps, bitch kind of story. So my hope is that people realize that you can come from relatively nothing and work hard, commit, dedicate, invest in yourself, and be where you want to be.
See, but in the midst of that, most people, especially if they single, they can never find love.
But you can have that mentality and still find love.
That is true.
But that's
most
when you
people don't do that.
Yeah, they don't, because they over-index in their masculine energy. Okay, and that's a whole conversation. They'll over-index in their masculine energy, and it's important to make sure that you strike that balance. I'm looking at this line and feel like that's the middle line, right? Where you don't over-index in that masculine energy, because if you do, you're going to remain single. You're going to be in a space where a male partner who is probably coming in with an energy where they want to come in with a cape, right, and save the day. Not every chick needs to be saved, though.
That's true.
And men need to understand that as well, that not every chick needs to be saved. Like, some women want to bring their 50% of whatever to the table and lift, elevate, and build.
Would you be okay with the fact that you make more than your man?
I would be okay with that, and here's why. Here's why. Can I explain why?
Go ahead.
Here's why. I would be okay with making more than my man, because at the end of the day, we would have had a conversation about what the end goal was. Okay. Whether or not it's him making more or us making more together, at the end of the day, marriage is a contract. It's a business agreement. It's like you're literally signing something, right? So for me, if I'm making more, it's a partnership. Yeah. If I'm making more, it's fine, as long as we've come to an agreement that we're going to use this more money for X, Y, and Z, or we're going to use this success for X, Y, and Z. But if there's no conversation and I'm just making more and he making more and he trying to tell me how to use my money, then I'm going to have an issue. But if we haven't had a conversation about what we wanted our legacy to look like, then I could, that's where the friction comes in.
Okay. I was like, because most women want their man making more than them.
And I would agree. Traditionally, because if you look at how back in the day, what did they call it? Aunties, grandmas, whatever.
Yeah, that was a different time.
Women did not work. But now, you think about inflation, and you think about student loans, you think about all of the other factors that go into the cost of living. It's just not realistic to live on one income.
That's true.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be 2 incomes. I'm not finna debate on whose income finna be higher. We just need to make $200K at the end of the day. How it's divvied up, it don't freaking matter. As long as our bills are paid and we can live the lifestyle that we both agreed upon, then we're good.
Earlier, we talked about the whole trash man. Okay, real quick, we talked about the trash man. Trash man, he just starting out. He on his second year. He like 18 months in, something like that, whatever. And would it be more than 18 months? But whatever. He on his second year in. But you don't know the potential. He can make 125 in 2 years. But you don't see that. You see him as a trash man right now. He at 55. The thing is, a lot of times, if a man tell you you're a trash man or doing something like that, like for some reason, those things turn women off. The job title turns women off. So you got to have a job title that sounds somewhat exciting, somewhat intriguing, or something like that. Because initially, those type of men are very hard workers. Those men want to be married. Those men usually do not cheat. But the fact that that title and at the current time, the money isn't what you like, it's a turnoff for you. And that's one issue right there, because those men still have the capability to lead, but they may need that woman on their side that really takes them over and put them over the edge. Because them right there, that's probably like their best. They probably had been the first person to make over that much in their family.
I mean, that's fine.
So that's a lot of pressure on a man. Then now you coming into my life, now I got to step it up off of a level that I've already not comfortable with.
Right, and I mean that's fine. But different strokes for different folks. That's kind of how I feel about that. You know, I have a certain standard. I have a certain lifestyle that I achieve for myself, and so for me, it's not even about like what you make. It's just about my lifestyle, and can you match the lifestyle? You know what I'm saying? So that's really what I look for. So I don't diss anybody for what they do. It's just about, for me, the lifestyle I have created for myself. I'm not backing down.
And I feel that. Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad you said 50% because we in a community of I ain't paying half of nothing. So what is 50%?
I mean, I think 50. So yes, I say 50, but in an ideal world, it's less than that.
Okay, right? Yeah,
and
of course.
If I'm in pursuit of what the late Kevin Samuels would call a high value man, it's less than 50. I'm not going to tell you what my percentage is, but it's less than 50.
It is less than 50, but in a sense of everything family based, it is 50. Because where you don't provide financially, you provide in time.
Okay.
You provide in family structure and taking care of things on the back end.
And so that's fair, but I do think, and this is, I feel like, a really important message to get out to men. Because I do believe that a lot of men have the perspective that you have, which is bring that 50. And I think men have to understand what that means and what you get when you expect a woman to bring 50%. Like, I can bring 50.
Yeah.
And I know women who can bring 60, 70.
Okay.
Okay. But as a man, do you really want what 50 plus brings? Because 50 plus brings a lot of energy. It doesn't bring neck energy. It's bringing head energy. And so when we talk about women being the neck, men being the head, right? Like it's bringing more head energy. And so understand that, right? If you want a woman to bring the table and then some to the table, you get what you pay for, literally.
That is true. That is true. But she can also be unruly. And that's what we see with this generation.
Unruly, child.
She can be unruly.
I know some guys who are technicians. They install security. All right. They make about $50,000 a year.
Okay.
If that person is making $50,000 a year and you making 120, 130, you gonna be okay with?
I would be okay with that, but one thing I will say, that nigga better not cheat.
So the more money you make,
this nigga try to cheat.
The more money you make, the better chance of you just like, it happened once, and y'all can get past it. But if he make less than 50, and he cheat on you,
it goes both ways. So you hear this saying of like, oh, high value men, if they make the most money, they have a pass to have multiple women.
Nah, I don't subscribe to any of that. In my opinion.
But that's the narrative. High value man, you make the most money. You have the flexibility to have as many women as you want. I'll be damned if you make $50K and you out here trying to have multiple women. I will shut that shit down. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
are you kidding me?
not condoning any of this, all right? Not condoning any of this. Just saying that you might not have time for that man.
In turn,
You
if I
being a
make
successful
100K,
woman.
if I make 100K, would you be mad if I had another nigga?
Why would you have another nigga? You make 100K.
Why would I have another nigga?
You got all your bread that you need.
You can't buy me flowers every week and treat me to a spa day.
No, I can buy you with 50K. I can buy you flowers every day. Now I might not be taking you to Dubai and Bora Bora, but you getting some flowers at least.
Okay, see that's where
base gonna be full of water, nutrients and all.
What I'm saying is this, right? Is that again, I'm not one to sit here and down the independent woman. I would never do that, right? My wife is independent as fuck, right? Top
Beautiful
of her field,
queen.
all of
Beautiful
that. Salute the
Black,
baby.
I hope queen.
Of course.
Okay.
Salute the baby. But what I'm saying is this, right? In the process of chasing that, you lose feminine traits. You do. It's no way around it. We can sit here and talk in ideals, but I'm not one to speak in ideals. When you elevate to a certain level in your field, right, you have to develop a certain masculinity to get there. You have to develop a certain dominance to get there.
Yes.
Right? So with that, women fool themselves into believing, hey, because I'm making all this money, I don't necessarily need a relationship. And I feel like that works to the detriment of marriages being prioritized, right? Mm-hmm. Now, again, back before, it was a different kind of extreme, right? Women wasn't allowed to work, right? Mm-hmm. So now my livelihood depends on this man. Mm-hmm. And now I'm prioritizing marriage way more than I probably should.
Yeah.
Right? But in today, I feel like women, again, are delusional in the aspect of thinking that your career can substitute for a relationship. And that's why so many women that are out here, great jobs, making great money, nice car, big ass house, all that shit, and miserable because they don't have a man and they don't have kids and they cannot maintain a relationship for more than 6 months.
I think that's so chauvinistic. And I feel like I think men create the environment for women to be able to tap into their feminine energy. And I don't know, I'll speak for me and mine. Mm-hmm. I make over 6 figures and I don't pay a bill.
Right.
Not one. Mm-hmm. So my money is for me to do what I want to do. And I take care of my kids, obviously, take care of myself. I take care of my husband, pay for vacations, do whatever I want to do. Mm-hmm. But the responsibility of taking care of the household does not fall on my shoulders. So yes, I do go to work and I'm in spaces and I'm I'm in these meetings, sometimes the only black woman having to represent. But at home I can come and be soft. Right. Because I know my husband is handling business.
So you fell in line with the program.
I didn't fall in line. My husband had to work. We fought many of days and many of nights. But what I have is somebody who is willing to roll up his sleeves and fight with me. He met me where I was at. He didn't give up on me. I didn't give up on him. Okay? So that's what I am saying.
I think we are too far gone. I think, like I kind of was saying earlier, we have so many different influences that kind of messed it up. For one of my favorite examples is kind of like, like Will and Jada. Mm-hmm. Like I think growing up, like everybody wanted that Will and Jada love. Like that was like the goal right there. And, now we look at it and, for one, social media has taking a part of that. We know too much of their lives, but seeing like our like favorite couple, like it messes you up a little bit. You be like, dang, if Will and Jada going through all that, then what I'm gonna go through? You know what I'm saying? Or Beyonce and Jay-Z, so I think marriage, it really did fall a lot on your influences and what you saw around you. A lot of people's parents, especially this generation, the new generation, like us right now that are having kids, a lot of people aren't married, so that prioritization, if you don't see that, you really not, it can go either way, I think it's about how you're raised. I think it's about the substance you're raised from. Me personally, I still prioritize marriage. I think that it's still a big thing. I would just say the priority in it has changed. I used to want to get married really for the sake of love. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to just have love. I wanted to have my husband. I no longer want to get married only for the sake of love. Mm-hmm. My number one reason for wanting to get married now is security, if I'm being honest.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like I am truly, I'll be honest, I'll be really transparent. I'm a single woman. I do everything on my own. So now I don't want to say something so bland as like, I'm tired of paying my own bills, but I'll say that I'm ready to start building with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to alleviate a few things off my plate. Because let's be honest, 2 incomes are better than 1. You know what I'm saying? We can try to fake it all we want, but it is. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to alleviate. So I really want to get married for the sake of security and for the sake of building. And, you know, love is still going to be there, but it's not my top prioritization when it comes to it, which is kind of scary.
It's not unruly. It's just that you have to give her a reason, and you have to give her a reason to think that and believe that she can lean in, be soft, and
you can give
submit.
that type of woman all of that room, right? But most women that amass
not
these
if you
things,
bring in 40%, child.
most women that amass these things, I'm talking. Let's say a high value woman, 100 racks, own
Plus.
crib, car, 100 racks plus, own crib, car. I can do for myself. I don't need too much of nothing. She has put a lot of barriers on herself because she has to protect. She spent her whole life building and protecting. Mm-hmm. So she can see this great man in front of her, and he can be doing twice as much as she could ever do. Mm-hmm. But still, with her, she's looking at it like, I can take care of my damn self. I don't need you here.
We eventually gonna get tired of all the fighting and all the back and forth. We eventually, because you're gonna look at your age, you're gonna see that you're 35, 36 years old, you haven't had a kid yet for some people. Mm-hmm. You're gonna look back and like, damn, I had planned on having a kid at such and such age, and you're looking at the last couple of years, you doing good, making your money that you want to make, and then you see that your legacy hasn't necessarily taken the foundation of it hasn't taken place as you wanted. Like men and women, I believe will eventually, because I feel like it's really at the root of it all is really just miscommunication. Men are saying they want one thing when it comes to marriage. Women are saying they want another thing, and they're not just sitting here coming to a solution. Everybody just being stubborn, saying, "Nah, this what it's got to be. I need you to bring this. This got to be at the table. And if that's not the case, then shit, this just not gonna work."
Okay, I hear you. So do you want to know what my thought is? Is that I definitely feel like the institution of marriage can be revived if more people that are in marriages speak up about what all it entails to be married. I think the issue is that once you get married, it's like you don't let nobody in your marriage. Everything that's in your marriage stay in. But the fact of the matter is, like, yes, to a certain extent, I believe in that. But the other side is people need to know what it takes to be married.
That's true.
It's not easy. It's not a Pokemon situation. It's not catch 'em all. It's not like you just sign on and then if it don't work out, you jump to the next one. It's not that. But I think that more people that are married need to speak out about what it takes to be married. And then two, our parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whatever, needs to be honest about the things that go into being married, the things that you have to give up. So you're.
I was just about to say,
yeah.
It's like that. I mean, we hear it all the time. How some grandfathers had second families and it.
Right.
Those are hardships. I'm not saying that it has to be those same exact hardships.
No, right.
It's just going to be hardships that happen in a relationship, and you got to understand that it takes that because it.
But we have to stop highlighting the bad and the hardships because it's the benefits of it. It's literally marriage is an asset, and that's what people don't understand. You can establish more with two incomes, True. Two visions, two purposes, and if they're aligned. But people don't believe in that, and people are literally taking these cookie cutter social media relationships
and everything,
as Bible, and that's not it.
You have to do what's in the best interest for yourself. My husband was able to handle me the way that I needed to be handled, okay? And he was able to show up as a man like I needed him to. Mm-hmm. And so it's easier, because I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's been easy. It's been a process, but it's also been easier for me to try to fall into my feminine energy,
right?
Because I want to make my husband happy because I know that he has my best interest,
right? Of course.
Because he's shown it time and time and time again. And no, he's not perfect. No, our relationship is not perfect. Mm-hmm. However, he creates an environment
for me to want and desire to fall in line and be the highest version of my feminine self for him, because that's what he wants.
Right. So at the end of the day, you're saying that it's women's fault because women make things unnecessarily difficult when that man had been the same man that he was this whole time. In terms of wait, let me finish, because again, that man has been the same. That man has been the same solid nigga today that he was when you first met him, and if not, you would not be with him. So what I'm saying is this: you knew he was solid because you did your due diligence, and you still bucked the system. You went against the grain, all that, and because he was patient enough to say, you know what, I probably understand why she's bucking the system, whatever the case may be. Because that's another thing that men don't get credit for, right? We don't get credit for understanding y'all plight and understanding y'all emotional instability and still being a solid nigga anyway. Wait. Let me finish. What I'm saying is this, right? Because again, that man had the patience and the understanding to see through and to quote unquote wait until your ass got in line with the program like you should have did from day one. That right there should not be used as the blueprint. That is an exception. And you made the situation unnecessarily difficult. When your ass should have just got in line on day one, and we could have avoided most of these problems. And that's what most women do, and that's why marriages are not prioritized the way that they should, because men are confused. We don't know what the hell is going on out here.
We have had to make exceptions for each other, okay? And that is what a relationship is all about. It's about learning, growing, compromising, exactly, and never fucking settling. So yes, I made it difficult, but he made it difficult as well. And you know what I have?
Nah, my dog ain't making it difficult.
I have grit.
We'll continue.
I have grit. I'm loyal. Mm-hmm. My husband has grit as well, and it takes that in a relationship. I have grit because of who I am. Mm-hmm. He has grit because of who he is. But aside of that, we see the value in each other.
Of course.
I think at the end of the day, we just have to be more intentional with what we're doing, with who we're with, because a lot of times that'll distract us. Especially men, like we've been taught for so long to just go out, have sex with this woman, that woman, just get as many bodies as you want to get out the way, and then just one day you'll meet that woman and just settle down and she'll accept you for who you are.
Y'all have fear of missing out, though.
When, yes and no. Yes and no. Depending on how you were raised, because you got some men from high school, they ready for look for their wife and they done. They don't want to do nothing else. They already set in their mind what they want to do for their career. They just want to raise a family and just live that boring lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of men just like that. But you have other men who like, I want to see what the other side is like, because I've heard about it. And they say, and especially today, it ain't hard to just. Anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that. But the game wouldn't be so easy if the bar wasn't so low. And we can't play on the goal if the hoop ain't adjusted to a certain height. So all I'm saying is, women, y'all need to raise y'all standards a little bit more, stand on y'all square, stop letting these lame dudes take advantage of y'all, whisper y'all sweet nothings with no activity, no action, nothing like that. I just want y'all to raise y'all standards a little bit more. And fellas, stop listening to all these women that it just sounds sweet, they look good, all that good stuff. Really pay attention to their actions. Really pay attention to their actions. And they'll tell you all you need to know.
All right, and fellas, take y'all own advice.
And again, I think the right man, the right person that's for you. What? Come on. I think the right man, the right person's for you. That person will help you.
So I got one question.
I'm sorry, I had a thought, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad.
No. If you go ahead, I'm gonna let you.
I just have
one
question. Go ahead. That's the only reason why I'm interjecting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those type of women have ever run into a man that they would marry and they let him go or they ran him away? That's the only thing. That's the only question.
But I just repeat the question because the beatbox is.
It's beatboxing. Go get them boxes.
Shout out to
But anyway,
beatbox.
with them women, do you think they ever ran into a man that was a great man for them and they ran him off? Every woman that's in that position.
I think the right man stays. And scene.
I agree when you say people of, successful marriages need to speak out more about the hardships that happen. That's true. But
And I'm not talking about Will and Jada, by the way, because they
hell no.
Please don't.
What I'm saying is that in a way is positive information.
Right.
And when you think about the climate that we live in now, everybody shuns positive information. Anything that is good is not something that's spread. It's not something that's easy to just give somebody because they're like, nah, man, I done been around such and such. Nah, man, that shit ain't true.
But
people feed off of the negative. The second that you hear somebody say, "Hey man, I was with such and such for 10 years. We married, got this many kids," and they'll be like, you know what I'm saying, that's cool, like, you know what I'm saying, congratulations. But the second that they hear somebody else say, "Man, such and such just happened, bro, I ain't doing it."
So
can I gotta stay away.
Can I say this though? We have to also stop looking at celebrities.
That's
because
true. I hate that.
Literally. People were probably on board with marriage, but then the moment Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, it was like, marriage is a sham.
That's true.
Right? You know what I mean? And I thought about this in good detail. I thought about this in good detail that marriage is what you make it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And it looks different for everybody. And so if you are married and you say, I want to explore what it's like to bring another person into the marriage, that does not mean that's what marriage is about. That's what their marriage is about. And I don't agree with that. But that's what their marriage is about.
Get your shit off.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I think that's the beauty of marriage, honestly, is that it's to each its own. You get to build, and when I say that marriage is a business, it's a contract. Each business engagement looks different. When you sign a contract to like, go into business with somebody, it looks different than the next person.
That's true.
Apple ain't signing a deal with Android or whatever. It looks different with each business.
Everybody has their own house to build.
Absolutely.
You don't have to build a house that looks like somebody else's.
But the issue,
take the same materials to build that house.
The issue right now is that it's a lot of groupthink with social media. It's a lot of groupthink with just like the podcast world and just what somebody else is thinking. We all got to think, and that's not true.
Yeah.
And a lot of millennials don't go to church no more. And I don't want to bring in the Bible or whatever, but if you look at marriage, a lot of people try to marry marriage with the Bible and stuff, but marriage doesn't have to be religious, but most people associate it with that, and it's like, I don't want the government involved, I don't want God involved, I don't want all these people involved. But the issue is like, you don't think enough of yourself to get you involved. Like, that to me is just wild.
And so when you understand that two people who are coming into a relationship are imperfect, but you see value in that person, you're willing to do what it takes. Not long as you're not being abused, you're not being mistreated, misrepresented. That's one thing. But accepting a person for who they are and meeting them where they are at, that goes a long fucking way. Okay? And I'm not saying that shit is given, because obviously it's not a given. Okay?
Of course not.
It's not a given. Okay? But I can only speak from my experience at the end of the day. And if I didn't have my husband, which I'm grateful I do, I would have somebody else at the end of the day. Because Larry had period. Yeah. Okay? Because being in a relationship has never been my plight. Okay? Regardless of how I show up. Now, what you got to say to that? What you got to say to that?
I'm going to say again.
Cap it.
Again.
Cap it. What if Cap say? Give him to me.
I'm going to say again. If bro is that irreplaceable, your ass would not be there, right? So again, you're admitting him not be so they just he gone. I'm just gonna replace a nigga like that. No, it don't work like that.
Finding a man to be in a relationship has never been my problem.
Anybody can find a man to be in a relationship, but you can't find an elite man. Elite man not just on the ground. You can just scoop them motherfuckers up like that. That's not how elite men are.
Finding the right person. It's not about finding an elite man. It's about finding the right person for you. So finding the right person.
Semantics. You're saying the same thing I'm saying.
No.
What I'm saying is
right
this.
are two different things.
What I'm saying is this. In summary, women make shit unnecessarily difficult. There's plenty of good niggas out here that's willing to just take care of y'all and put y'all in y'all feminine energy and all type of shit. Super compatible with you, but y'all want to buck the system anyway. Y'all want to sit in the passenger seat and reach for our steering wheel unnecessarily, then wonder why men don't want to get married.
Whatever.
It's all on women at the end of the day.
You know what? At the end of the day, you're lost. Exactly. Why you keep getting up? Why you keep talking and getting up? Why you keep talking and getting up? Why you keep talking and getting up? Lies. That's all lies. Lies at the end of the day. Lies. You're not keeping that footage. Lies.
She was just there for the season.